all new. AM 1150 WTMP.com.
All right. It's that time again. Our engineer kind of gave me the thumbs up. I got some guys in the studio that's complaining. I say, hey, she's doing what she was told. I know she's doing what she's told. So it's 1 o'clock, Saturday afternoon. And for those who regular tune in to Porch Talk Radio, it's that time again. The kids can tell you, and the folks who are listening can tell you, it's Porch Talk Radio. And me and Gabriel and Tim are here in the studio. I know a lot of folks choose not to come in. They're going stir crazy at home. Oh, now I gotta say, let me say this early, get it out the way. I said it here. Okay, you remember at the end of World War II, they came home, they had the biggest baby boom in history. Well, guess what? Wait 9 months. And no matter how many people, and I'm joking, but it's not funny. But no matter how many people coronavirus kill, in 9 months they will be replaced because folks are spending a lot of time at home. People they didn't like before, I guess they find out they've been forced to get along with them. So in 9 months, they may be getting along now. They may not get along in a month or 2 months from now, but they get along now. So in 9 months, we'll all see what happens.
Eddie, I think it's a discovery time. People are discovering that what they're hearing about their kids from other people,
oh yeah,
it's true.
Oh yeah. Well, the
brats.
good and the bad. So anyway. Welcome to Porch Talk Radio. It's a lovely day outside.
Lovely day.
I actually went and bought some fishing gear. Just some light stuff. I had been saying I was gonna go fishing, and I fish by myself, so I ain't gotta prove nothing to nobody if I don't.
See, Eddie, that's where you and I are similar.
If I don't catch nothing,
you fish alone. I drink alone. See, we're
I don't
similar.
drink. I don't drink at all. So I drink water and Coke and tea and stuff. I don't do hard beverages. Now that's the one industry that's not suffering at all.
That's essential, Eddie. Now schools are closed.
I'll tell you.
But liquor stores are open.
Every
That's
liquor
essential.
store is open and packed all day long. I don't know why. They're packed all day from the time they open to 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. I don't know who the hell starts drinking at 8, 9 o'clock in the morning. But whatever time they open in the
Bloody
morning.
Marys for morning time.
In
little
the morning.
Baileys and the coffee.
In the morning. So people are lined up at the liquor store in the morning.
Talk about a revitalization of an industry.
Not 12:01.
Day drinking is coming back strong.
Not 12:01 at night.
And
I'm talking about
good.
8 or 9 o'clock in the morning, whenever the liquor store open, and the place stay packed all day. Okay, I understand Walmart and Publix and places like that, but I still don't get the liquor store because, okay, if you're hoarding liquor, I'm just saying, toilet paper and alcohol.
No.
You're going to be wiping. It's going in one end, coming out the other.
It's because of this pandemic that we're having, they say, which
Yes.
is just a bunch of models, which we know what models are, right? Everybody
Right.
made up.
Right.
Anyway, so because of that pandemic, alcohol has actual alcohol in it. And they can actually sterilize things with the alcohol.
No, that's not what they buy.
Well, technically,
I'm
I mean,
telling
like Tito's is vodka, which is only 40%, but if you use it twice, because CDC says 60%. So there you go. There's you the recipe.
Rubbing alcohol is 90% alcohol. So back in the olden days, I remember people
But
used
you
to
can do more with vodka than you can rubbing alcohol.
sift it through bread and some other stuff.
Bread.
I'm just saying. That's
What would you do with the bread after that?
Throw it away, because it
I
took
don't know
out.
about that.
The reason denatured alcohol is denatured is because they put some stuff in it that supposed to make drunk folks sick, drunkards sick when they drunk it. But they figured out how a way to drink the rubbing alcohol with getting drunk and still not getting sick. So anyway,
so if I see a bum with a loaf of bread and some rubbing alcohol, I know what's going on.
That's a whole nother show. That's a whole
There you
nother
go.
show. Anyway, for those who are joining us today, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. We're gonna do what we do every Saturday. We're gonna provide you with some information that you're probably not gonna hear a lot of other places.
I guarantee.
Gonna have some conversation. We're gonna talk about some stuff, and we're gonna help make the community and the world better. That's kind of what we do here.
That's what we do.
So, let's start out. Well, let me tell you how to call the show. If you want to call, be on the show.
This show.
During the show for the
Live.
next hour, 813-251-9867. 813-251-9867. That's the call and be on the show. I actually got some email. Tim, you probably got it too. So we got some sponsors. So somebody's liking what we're doing, who's emailed us and,
Eddie,
and,
I mean,
and
how
want to
can
get
it not?
involved.
We're still one of the highest rated shows in this town.
Get involved. Get involved and listen to the Elephants talk trash on Saturday, because we are growing. Our audience is growing, and more leaps and bounds. I don't think we are a major means of communication. I think sometimes people listen just to get the other side. Kind of get something different from what they're getting
That's right.
everywhere else. In that, I thank folks for listening to this show, and I thank you for being around. And every now and then, a lot of people may know my voice now since this is the platform, but they don't know my face. So
And Eddie, I've known you for 10 years, and you've got a perfect face for radio.
so I take that the way it was given. So anyway, if you want to email me, email me. If you want to email me, Eddie, EDDIE, at porchtalkradio.com. Folks have been using the email lately, so I get the emails, and I will get back with you. For those who want to call me, text me, Eddie Adams Jr.'s cell phone number, 813-2. My cell phone number, if you want to call me, which some people have done, 813-212. Topic number one, what we're going to talk about to start the day off. And the day in history is an important day, especially for black community. But anyway, we're gonna hit on that a little bit later. A few years ago, while they was in the process of trying to get and pass and pay for the Affordable Care Act, I know a lot of you guys have heard of that. The Obama administration, was going through a lot, and they were trying to figure out how to
Obamacare.
how to make it affordable and how to pay for it and how to pass it and do a lot of stuff. But little did they know, they were going to run into those unintended consequences.
Mm-hmm.
One of the issues that was a part of the Obamacare Act and getting it passed was something called medical device tax.
Mm-hmm.
Or they had what was officially called a medical device excise tax. For those who understand how they do this stuff, is what they did was they start taxing the production, supply, and the distribution of certain kinds of medical equipment.
Ventilators.
And this was back in 2010 when they started. They finally didn't get it passed and get it in the rolls or on the books until 2013. So from 2013 to 2016 or 17, before it actually went away, a lot of medical equipment producers, suppliers, research left the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody keep trying to say, and I heard some comedian making a joke, well, how do a germaphobe decides that he's going to shut down, parts of the CDC and this and all that kind of other stuff? Well, again, when this stuff started, they've been having pandemics and outbreaks of this and outbreaks of that,
MERS, SARS,
since we've been here. So
swine flu.
So the damage, and why we're where we are now, and again, I seldom, get on the radio and talk about Obama because I know how black folks, feel.
A lot of them are coming to their senses, Eddie. God bless them.
Obama could
They've learned better.
do no wrong. But his people was telling him, you gotta tax medical devices. Now there was no such thing as the medical device tax before
Correct.
the Affordable Health Care. There was thousands of people who lost their job because the people who make medical devices left the United States of America.
Mm-hmm.
That's how they got to China. That's how they got to Taiwan and all those other places that make all the stuff that we now need that we don't make anymore. Well, history tells us if you want to increase something, then you reward the people who make it or do it or whatever the process be it. And if you want to decrease something, then you punish the people who make it or do it or whatever the deal is. And so literally you get more of something or less of something based upon how you see it and how you treat the people that make it or do it or produce it or however you want to say it or how you want to do it. So it's kind of like I remember you guys know and remember that they had what was going to be called a luxury tax. We're gonna tax the airplane owners, the jet owners, the luxury boat owners and all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to take that money and do this and do this and do that with it. Okay. Every time in the history of this country, we decide that we going to tax something, production, its manufacturing, its distribution, take a dive. Always.
And Eddie, I think that's where the politicians have a disconnect with the American people that work at these factories, that work at these manufacturing companies that are producing these products, to where they say we're going to get the rich person that's over a millionaire or more, and we're going to go ahead and tax the heck out of them. And you know what? And them happens to be the people that say, well, I need my lawn done, I need my landscape redone, I need my kitchen remodeled for the 10th time, I need this house over here worked on. And the regular working people are out there doing it, and they're making money.
But it's flawed.
Oh yeah.
Flawed policy.
Huge.
Is something that they do in a vacuum.
You're right, Eddie.
Because all those folks who are saying yes, great,
they're disconnected.
Aren't the people right who lives with it? Because if I can afford a Learjet, if I can afford a G6, a G4, or one of those.
No, Bernie Sanders was given one. Okay, that's different.
One of those, luxury yachts that's 75, 80 feet long, and a staff.
I'll be your friend.
A staff of 35. If I can afford that,
do you care about the rest?
I can go anywhere on this planet I want and buy a boat. I can buy a plane. I can do what I want.
You have the resources.
Because I got the resources to be able to do it. Now, somehow these people think, oh, I am so patriotic that I have to pay more tax, more money for my goods and services than anybody else in the country because I'm rich. Well, the rich folks are rich because they know how to keep their money. Not only do they know how to keep their money, they know how to get your money.
Who do you think is paying for these tax attorneys, these CPAs? Who do you think is paying for these top dog accountant firms? Folks, it's these folks.
Well, again, if I can pay somebody $100,000 a year
to save you $500,000,
to save,
right. Yeah.
See again, we understand it, and the people who make these policies see it all differently. Because they think, well, Warren Buffett pays less tax than his secretary. He probably do.
Oh yeah.
Because he's got a staff of 25 or 30 people who do nothing but make sure he's not paying taxes.
Absolutely. And all these Hollywood celebrities,
right?
They all have the opportunity to pay more money to give the government. You know what, folks? They don't.
I'm gonna give you a primary example. I don't mean this in a bad way. I'm just picked it out the blue. Vanna White.
She makes a lot of money.
Wheel of Fortune.
A lot of money.
Makes $10 million a year. And all she do
is flip the letter.
Is work 3 days a week and turn those letters, and the letters turn automatically. She just point at the letters and the letters turn. And she's not only just started doing that.
But she does it really well. She got a gift on that.
She's been doing that for 30-some years.
She's an expert.
So what I'm saying is, when we look at value and who's paying and where money comes from.
Eddie, do you think she's paying 50% tax?
And where money goes.
No.
It's a different scenario. So the people who are making these, back to, medical device excise tax. The people who make the big money are not going to pay more money for taxes and devices and products and goods and services than you. They know how to find they can shop the world over.
They have people that do that for them.
Yeah, they can shop the world over, find good prices, and make their money go further than you or me. So the whole concept of the medical device tax, they just assume because they put taxes on these things that the people who were making those devices, the people who were saying, oh yeah, they'll pay 2.3% more taxes on these devices than anybody else, on the planet does. And 2.3% of a couple of bucks is 2.3%.
But that's on one device.
When you start talking about billions of dollars and trillions of dollars, that's big money.
Huge.
And that's why we're where we at today. Several years ago, some very smart, and I'm saying it sarcastically, some dumbasses decided that we're gonna tax the medical devices. Mm-hmm. Which everybody knows, if you tax them, we're gonna produce more and many, and everybody's gonna pay it. And
it's not logical.
That's
just not logical because the normal person says, okay, so if that thing I used to pay for down the street used to be $5, and now it's $25.
Yep.
And when I pay them more money, I'm going to feel more patriotic.
Well, think about this.
No.
At one point in time, an electric toothbrush was considered to be a
junk.
medical device.
No, really? They were junk.
I'm just saying. Sometime, and I hear this and I say this, and some of you guys who've been listening to the show for a long time, common sense ain't common no more.
Especially when you're a politician.
And I mean it like that. Common sense ain't common no more.
And it can be both sides of the fence, unfortunately.
It's some serious stupidity that's been going on, always going on, like not let a good coronavirus go to waste.
Eddie, so if we just took that one little phrase right there, if we just took that one, if we all thought half a second, back in January.
Oh, yeah.
Back in January, we had a ban that was put on travel to China.
Yep.
We had a Corona committee that was formed back in January.
Oh.
And what we know as we go forward to February the 24th, Nancy Pelosi, in charge of the Democrats, was in Chinatown telling them all, come on out. That's just a racist president. And now they're going to do a committee to investigate the president and his administration for being slow.
Well,
I don't understand.
Well, actually, there is some information that said that they were studying and had corona investigations and research folks last June. People keep thinking this thing happened, 3-4 months ago.
Well, the WHO, which is the Rockefeller Organization, didn't say anything until November.
Well,
hey, we think something's going on.
The World Health Organization knew of the coronavirus in 1920. Again, people keep saying this is a new virus or something new. It is not new. It is not new. And the fact that I said last week on this radio show, this is not the big deal. There is something coming. Mark your calendar, put it on, wherever you do it in your house, put it on a sticky pad. Something else is coming. This is not it. This thing will be over in a couple months.
You know a little more history than me, obviously, just not because you're older than me, but you are. But I'm just saying, there's been worse things that have hit America. Did the Black Plague, didn't it start here? Or?
No, they had the Black Death. The Black Plague was in Europe. And then they had cholera in South America and parts of Africa. I mean, they've had diseases that,
What's the last big one that hit America? Was it swine flu, 2009?
They had swine flu this century.
Okay.
So most of the other, really, really deadly killer that killed millions of people was in the last century. which was
Okay.
from 1900, to 2000. In that 100 years, there was some serious, health epidemic. There was probably, I would say, without, blinking an eye, 20 to 30 pandemics in that 100-year period.
Now, this is different, a pandemic and a plague.
Well,
I'm learning from you here.
Well, see, a pandemic is when the whole world becomes infected in a plague.
In a plague.
So a plague is a sickness.
Okay.
So corona, the COVID-19 is a disease that will cause a plague, and then when that plague goes worldwide, it becomes a pandemic. The word pan means
this
whole.
This is us learning, folks.
The word pan, you put pan in front of anything, it means whole, like Pan-African. Well, that means all the African nations come together. Pan-Atlantic Council, that's when all the Greek fraternities come together. So when you put pan in front of something, then that implies whatever you're talking about, the whole everything gets involved. So again, we could have a spotlight. Long as malaria was just in Africa, nobody gave a damn about it. It was malaria is only killing black folks. I'm just saying. And then when everybody started getting malaria, then it became a plague.
Now it's been around a long time.
And now if you notice, they don't even look at it as bad that folks have malaria because a lot of folks recover. It used to be a time when you didn't recover.
Now, folks,
that would kill you. That's like the yellow fever.
And today that we actually have a cure. Once you get it, if anyone with half a brain that's listening to us right now, they know they've heard on the TV, they've heard from several of the media outlets that the malaria drug was just a bad idea. In January and in February, it was a bad idea. It was untested. It shouldn't be done.
Now they're using it on corona.
And now, then the governor of 2 or 3 states was banning it. And the doctors were told they're going to be put in jail if they used it. What's the official name of that? Chloroquine?
Yeah. No, that's not it. But see, the other thing about malaria is a lot of black folks, like myself, I don't say this often, but we have sickle cell trait. That's how black folks on the continent of Africa dealt with malaria as a group of people who became very susceptible to malaria. So what happens is
because of the sickle cell.
They develop sickle cell, and sickle cell anemia is the disease. That when you get 2 parents who are both, I know I'm talking genetics, who are susceptible to it, they could have a child with the disease.
Okay.
But if you just got the trait, you became
like a carrier.
No, you got the trait. So you wouldn't be a carrier, and you wouldn't get malaria. So I am immune to malaria because I am a carrier of the trait. So so the thing that made sickle cell disease is when you get 2 of them, then you get these cells that sickle and they go through pain and anguish and all this other stuff. But if you don't get the disease, you don't go through that. But we're going way out the way.
Now, folks, right now you're getting too much education compared to what you get out of the regular media, which is said that the cure was not the cure, and today they're all saying it's a cure. And several Democratic governors actually banned it initially in January, February, said no, this is not right, and they told all doctors, if you use it, we're putting you in jail. Well, now they've come back after they lost, more people died, and said, okay, so it is a cure, and now they're beginning to work on it.
Well, one of the things that's happening, if you remember last week, I gave you some numbers about the disease, people getting sick,
kind of
and
perspective,
deaths all over the world. And still, because Africans went through a period in which, death rate in Africa was higher than anywhere else on the planet because of malaria, a disease.
Okay.
Well, guess what? Most of the people in Africa develop an immunity to malaria. Guess what? A lot of those same people now immune to corona, because they have been attacked by everything. Their immune system have adjusted.
Now, Eddie, there's something you're familiar with called the herd thing, where everybody gets the virus at one point.
Everybody gets the virus and everybody gets the cure.
So in California right now, that's what they're thinking happened as of November last year, maybe, if not earlier, that everybody thought it was the flu, everybody just stayed around everybody, and they all got it, and they all made it through, and their death rates today is super low. There's 40 million people in California.
The state of California.
And out of that 40 million, what we know to be true
2% death rate.
Yep. And that works out
less than 2%.
It works out to 700 people per day that die in California day to day. This is before Corona came around.
Right.
This is normal.
Right.
But right now, they're saying, California is still getting flights in from China all the time, every day, every week, and they're doing fine.
Well, again, from what I have read, I have to kind of postulate that and put it out there, that a lot of people in California got sick last year.
Mm-hmm.
Early in the year, in the summer, they didn't know what it was, but it wasn't being called a corona.
And they didn't shut down their economy.
So they got it, they got over it, and now they got some pretty good immunities built up, and they're not getting this particular bug now. They may have got it before and didn't know what it was, and once you recover from it, you do have some kind of immunity, even though it's not, said that you can't get reinfected, but evidently this particular bug, you're not, because look at Wuhan, China. If you go to, Wuhan, now they say they got a 0 new rate for death. They got 0 deaths in Wuhan, China, and they done peaked and flattened and lowered, and now they get no new cases, and they even talking about opening up the new Apple, not the new, but reopening the Apple manufacturing plant up again because they're now supposedly safe.
They want to make money. What are you talking about, safe?
I'm just saying, now you never know the truth about what's
coming
out of China.
Never.
So you don't know. They could have taken, and this is dark side, so take this the way I'm giving it to you. They could have taken everybody who had the virus that they knew of and put them in a hole and took some bulldozers and covered
you know
them.
What, folks? Anything is possible when you aren't being told what's really going on.
Yeah. I mean, they're a communist regime. They could have done that, and think about this too. Before we started talking about the cost of medical devices and how all our ventilators and how all our prescription medication and how all this stuff got to be being produced and made and manufactured and shipped and from China. Well, we did that to ourselves.
And that's the globalist, Eddie, that's the bigger picture there. That's the globalist approach, that we're all interconnected, one country to another, and that is what has shot us in the foot. The past administration was all about the globalist approach, and I understand it. But the problem is what we've discovered now, with 90% of our drugs coming out of China, and China getting mad at us, and they want to call one of our payments that we owe them on some money that we borrowed off of them.
But they won't do that, but anyway.
Yeah, but I'm just, they're threatening just for the heck of it, because they can. And we allowed it to happen to us with 90% of our drugs being manufactured over there, and now with them shutting down temporarily, so we're going to take a few months off, guys. We're like, wait a minute, we need our drugs.
Well, they're talking about worldwide distribution of stuff that is concentrated in several places, as opposed to it being spread out the way it should have been. But everybody understands why that is. That's because at the end of the day, we're all capitalists, and wherever it's cheapest,
always.
Everybody as anybody who's done with bidding for goods and services and product, usually the cheapest bidder gets the job.
You can't spend 5 minutes or 3 minutes in Walmart, which is just a big front for China, and not find something made in China.
Well, everything there is made in China, pretty much.
So, Eddie, with all this said, with they call it a pandemic here in America, our economy has crashed. They've shut it all down. It's taken us 60 days now for our economy to drop down to where the Obama had the economy initially. So we're back to where we started.
Right.
So, but we're going to go forward. Right now, we've got the Comfort Navy ship over in New York.
With 20 patients on a 1,000-bed hospital ship, so they got 20 patients.
We know that's baloney, what the governor's been talking about over there, and the mayor as well. But then California has the Mercy, the Navy Mercy ship, and they've got maybe 9 people in it.
But California didn't request it.
That's true.
New York requested it.
And they requested thousands of ventilators, thousands.
Yeah.
And they actually had thousands already stashed. They let that be known just last week.
We got a caller.
Bring it.
All right, caller. Welcome to Porch Talk Radio on this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where are you calling from? And what says you?
Good afternoon. This is Adam from Tampa.
Adam!
Hey, one of our favorite consistent
Bring it, brother.
callers.
Yeah.
The one that talks about...
You know the rules, so I ain't got to tell you. Go ahead.
Make it short to the point.
There's no rules. I understand the rules. Hello.
Thank you for calling. And
thanks, Miss Daddy.
Take care, buddy.
All right. Now let me say something. We got another caller. Okay.
Oh, come on.
Well, I get a twofer. So welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you?
Man, this is Joe from West Town. I'm calling every show, man.
Joe!
Hey, that guy just fell for the bait. He said the Trump turned the economy around. We need to make him the president. Don't you know Trump gonna turn this around? It's already turning around. Let's look to him.
That guy's a diehard Democrat too, and he gonna eat his words.
Pink and pink grapefruit juice saved my ass. Okay,
Right.
That's not to say straight up, man.
Yeah.
So that's all I want to say. But keep up the good show. Let somebody else get in.
God bless you, guy.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
I love his wisdom.
Yeah,
That boy's
yeah.
sharp.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I'm saying, and if you remember when I started the show out, there is something else coming. I don't know what it is. I'm not saying there's a conspiracy, but I'm saying, they've had this before, and folks have died in the United States of America at a higher rate than this. But the reason they're clowning on this is a practice. Again, I don't know what's coming, but something's coming.
Now, Eddie, with all that said on the practice, I believe, like you said, there's a bigger picture because right now we've had our complete system redone, and the supply chain is being redone, the medications, the food chains being redone.
Mm-hmm.
This has been a tremendous opportunity for this current administration to show how they can totally revamp an outdated system that really wasn't working that good, because we know that the Dr. Fauci, Anthony Fauci,
Right.
and that lady Bricks or something like that,
Yeah.
those two people are career politicians that have been in the system for over 30 years.
Each.
Okay? Yeah, they've been there a long time, and they didn't bother to do anything. They just went with it.
And look at this. And then this is how you know that this is a test for something else, or this is a practice for something else. We got companies that were making liquor, making rum, gin, whiskey. Now, all of a sudden, them people are now making hand sanitizer. When they convert industries from producing one product or service to making another product or service that normally would not have been profitable, because the reason that they weren't making, hand sanitizer before because it wasn't profitable.
Just business.
Now they, they making it and they charging 4 times what it was costing before. Now they can make a profit off it. The same thing that happened with oil and gas. Oil and gas now,
That's a mess.
$1.50 a gallon. You could buy gas some places for $1.50 a gallon, and everybody's screaming and hollering, because normally it used to be $5. Okay, we got another caller. I'll get back to that point when we get the caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio this Saturday afternoon. Who are you? Where you calling from? And what say you?
This is Reverend Willie G. Dixon. How you doing?
Reverend Dixon, welcome to Porch Talk.
Y'all opening up a Pandora's box. What I did a few days ago? I went to Google, and I asked Google how many people died in America in 2000, in the year 2000. 400 plus 100,000 died from lung cancer.
Yeah.
So many died. So people die every day.
We appreciate you calling in, Reverend. God bless.
All right. Yeah.
Now, Eddie,
he has some issues with his phone, so.
Yeah. Now, Eddie, being the Reverend, now what happened now with our Brown, the church guy? Did he get put to jail?
Well, he gonna get a big payday.
But he got to jail.
He's a capitalist, and I kind of had said this, give or take, a couple weeks ago, that somebody was gonna challenge the
Don't mess with our churches.
The stay-at-home order. At some point in time, I knew somebody would. I just didn't know who. And there's a lot of money being lost, a lot of money being made, and everybody's not down. Everybody's not down.
That's true.
Everybody's not
Go to the
out.
liquor store.
You know, as I say, I use the liquor store as an example. But some people are making money because they're the only ones making money. So the few places left to go, those places are making money hand over fist. So it's a boom for those people. So, back in the old days, you say it's either fish or it's feathers. It's either chicken or it's feathers. So either you had lots of chicken or you got feathers.
It's Rodney Brown was the name of the pastor, right?
Rodney Brown, something Brown.
But he challenged. In fact, the churches today, I heard Friday.
Yeah, it's okay.
They were saying it's okay.
Yeah.
So we're going to see what's going to happen.
He
with
had
that.
a church service this weekend because he got a mega church. He had thousands of people in the church showing up for services when it was illegal, supposedly. So now that it says okay and called his name and says it's okay for you to do it. Matter of fact, the governor, told him personally it's okay for you to do it. So doggone well, the local sheriff and the local police and the local mayor don't stand a chance when the governor done told him basically that it's okay to do what you're doing. So what's going to happen is, even if he end up in court, because he's got to deal with that.
He's got attorneys.
He got to deal with the rest he's already happened.
Yeah.
So either they got to throw it out or they got to take it to court, but whatever the deal is, he's going to get paid because then he'll file a civil suit and he'll win. So anyway.
And again, and this is and I think right now, Eddie, something you just brought to light is the fact that right now there's so many people that are ready to get on a train to go to a coronavirus camp to get shots.
Right. Yeah.
And folks,
To
you
get
gotta
shot.
Yeah, you literally. So, folks, you got to stop and think, why is the government trying to... Actually, the government's doing good because they're backing away the states are the problem.
Right.
And if we look at which states have the worst issues right now, of course, they're all Democratic control, but they want to do lockdown. They want you to stay in your house. Mm-hmm. They don't want you coming out of your house. They want to give you a ticket. They want to fine you. They want to put you in jail. But then, if we got to think politically, they're letting out criminals out of jail now.
Well, they want to take your rights away, and that's why I was saying earlier. They never let a good coronavirus go to waste.
Unfortunately, that's sad.
They're gonna manipulate.
Yeah.
Because when folks are afraid, when folks feel pressure, when folks feel helplessness, then they're more easily manipulated. And if you got a system that will wholeheartedly, do what they're currently doing. And you kind of say, well, make it go away, make the pain go away. Usually, when they get you in that situation, you'll do anything to make the pain go away. Well, right now, what they're doing and what they're putting in place is feeling out how much they need to do for you to get to the point where you say, make it go away.
Eddie, the biggest concern,
and that's what they're doing.
Well, the biggest concern for a lot of people is, does the government ever back off? Once they have exercised that power over you, that control, will they fully back off and say, okay, we're back to where we're, or will they say, no, we're going to have another pandemic coming down the road in a couple of months. Let's continue social distancing. Let's continue staying at home.
Well, they won't do that because there's too much money being lost right now because the NBA gave up a season, hockey gave up a season, baseball.
The CDC director, Eddie, said, y'all need to just get used to this.
Again, you can hear more lies than you can tell. That's what I was always told. At some point in time, things will go back to normal. This tests don't last forever, and you can say you heard it here on Porch Talk Radio. That the new normal is going to be different than what we're going through now. We got another caller. Caller, welcome to Porch Talk Radio. Who are you? Where you calling from, and what say you?
I am Lily. I'm calling from Tampa.
Hello, Lily.
Welcome.
Thank you. What happened on this day in 1968?
Well, see, I was going to get to that. and
this is a setup.
And one of the things that I was going to do.
He's paying you money, Lily.
When I do on this day in history, that's the day Martin Luther King was assassinated at age 39.
That's young.
You got that right.
That's young.
Yeah. Yes, I was going to do that. So when I got to it, I was going to do that because this is an important day, especially for the black community.
Yes.
Thank you for calling, ma'am.
All righty. Have a great day.
God
You
bless.
too. All right. since she got us started,
That's a setup. That was a setup. Oh my goodness!
I could not have planned that any better.
You're paying that one.
If I would have actually had to have some money
paying that lady
to pay her to call in. So on this day, and as the caller said, she kind of led me into it. On this day, April the 4th, 1812, the territory of Orleans became the 18th U.S. state, and it became known as Louisiana, from the Louisiana Purchase. On this date, April 4th, 1818, a plan was passed by the U.S. Congress that the U.S. flag would have 13 red and white stripes and 20 stars, and that from that date forward, any additional state would get a star on the flag. On this date, April 4th, 1917, the U.S. Senate voted 90-6 to enter World War I. On the Allied side, we was on the Allied side. And as we just said, on this date,
the big one,
April 4th, 1968, Martin Luther King Jr. was assassinated at the age of 39.
That is so young for this day and age.
Yeah.
Especially Florida.
Yeah.
That's a baby.
So again, this is one of those historical dates, and I could not have done on this day issue without bringing that up, considering how important that is. And a lot of folks remember where they were when they heard it, you know what they was doing, whether they was in the middle or whether they was in school, or where they was when this event happened. And there's a museum in Alabama, Montgomery, that still has all of that info right there. They still got photos and the place where he laid down, and the place where he was shot, and all that kind of stuff. It is there. My sister went. I have not been. I have not personally been, but my sister went, and she told me how moving it was for her, and how emotional it is, and it was, and it still is. So we cannot forget as a people that things happen, and sometimes they're not for good reasons, but they do happen, and what we can't do is forget. And that's kind of what I've been saying, about this whole thing. This process we're going through now, learn who, what, when, why, how, the people who are in college and high school, and people who are looking for jobs and careers. Right now, it is a giant spotlight saying who this society considers to be essential, important people, important jobs, necessary jobs. Because the folks who are going to work right now, because you got people right now who ain't missed a paycheck yet. I do mean ain't.
I've been. My company
ain't missed a paycheck
has
yet.
me in there every day of the week in the office, because it's essential. We're part of the financial institution. Our organization handles payrolls for thousands of companies across the nation, as well as benefits and insurance things like that. So we're considered essential. They even gave us a little note that we can keep on ourselves in case the police pull us over.
Say essential.
Yeah, that I'm essential.
I'm an essential person.
So I'm feeling very impotent with that essential letter with me.
Right.
But I'm in the office Monday through Friday, and they're buying us lunch in the meantime, which I'm liking that part. Every day we have lunch ordered for us, and my wife is working from home now, but she's working because she works in the bank.
Right.
And she does the accounting behind the scenes.
Right.
So we're still considered essential until further notice.
A lot of banks are closed.
But the people are still working in the background.
Yeah.
The tellers are in there, but they're not talking to people.
I have a sister that's a nurse in a hospital.
She's got to be working.
And the floor that she works on had no patients, and she still had to go in.
Mm-hmm.
And again, they don't care whether you're working on the corona floor or not working on the corona floor. You're a nurse. And she also told me that in New York City, they were paying people $4,000 and $5,000 and $6,000 a week. If you are a medical, if you're a radiologist, if you do respiratory therapy, if you're a nurse,
goodness.
if you're a doctors make more than that. But you can go to New York, right now and get a job in a hospital, because they need you, even though they got a ship out there in the middle of the bay that's
empty,
completely manned and everything with only 20 patients in it,
and hundreds of doctors.
But again, I'm just saying, so, those people are still working, whether they need you or not. Now also this week, and this is a story I gotta relate.
Well,
I have 5,000 Facebook friends, and like everybody else, y'all got a bunch of people that you know, some you don't know.
Whatever.
Well, this young lady posted on Facebook one of those videos, and she was crying. She's a nurse. She was at a hospital, and she has a regular floor. So people who understand how hospitals do, she got a regular floor that she works on that had patients on her regular floor. Now this was a young lady. I would think she would be 20 something. And she said, I love my family. I love my boys. She got 2 boys at home. And she said, she came in and they assigned her to the corona floor. So they got a floor that's been designated at the floor where the corona patients are being sent. And she said, she was crying and everything. And again, this is Facebook, so I'm telling you the source. So
It's gotta be real.
So you can take it the way
It's on the internet.
you can take it the way it's presented. She said, I quit. She said, I'm not going. She said, I love my family. I'm not gonna go up there, get some bug and take it home to them. And that's the sentiment of a lot of folks. And I have consulted with some folks that I know that's nursing, in nursing, and a lot of them feel that way. They don't work if it's not their regular floor, or not a regular hazard. They've already taken hazards and precautions and all that kind of other stuff, But they're not looking forward to going in, having a regular floor that you've been doing for all this period of time, and now all of a sudden, the head nurse,
the boss,
director, or charge nurse, somebody send you away. I know they got to make some decisions as to who go and who stay and all that kind of stuff. But I worked in healthcare for 20 years, and usually if you got hazardous duty, you got hazardous pay. Like back in those days, it used to be the burn unit. Nobody wanted to work in the burn unit, but what they did was, in order to get people to want to work in the burn unit, they paid them more money. So now they expect you to show up, expecting your regular tasks, your regular duties, and then gown up, tape up, and pretty much put an oxygen mask on your face and a tank on your back, and send you to deal with people in a way that you've not done before.
And if you haven't had the training, I understand, Eddie. But if you've been trained and it's just part of the job,
it ain't part of the job. That's the issue.
Well, they're gonna have to decide. They can't hire people to right then to go to work it. They got to work what they got.
And they can't make you do it. And if you're an American citizen, you just choose to quit.
That's true.
Which is what's happening. That's another part of this whole thing that nobody's talking about.
No.
It's an awful lot of people who are in essential services that are now quitting. And so you got people who probably been retired or probably been away from it from a while. And those people are saying, okay, I go back and help out. I go back and work. So you got people in the field who haven't been doing it, for maybe a year or two, who decide to go back because now the need. That's what I'm trying to tell you. The needs dictate who works, who don't work, what happened, what's right, what's not right. And I'm saying, there's too many things happening for this not to be a test for something coming along later. I'm not a conspiracy theorist,
but I think you're right.
But it's something else. I feel it in my bones, that something is happening and we don't know nothing about it. And by the time we figure out about it, it ain't gonna be. That's when you got the time to try to, prepare yourself. You need to prepare yourself.
I think we'll be ready for the next one.
This is it now,
folks. As you're preparing, be aware that as your guys are missing certain things, understand that the traffic cameras right now are missing your money. The numbers are way down on what their collection with the traffic cameras around Tampa
Oh, yeah.
and around Florida. So if we can all do a collective, thank you. That's it.
Well, see, something else you got to
People staying home now.
take in consideration is a tank of gas costs you, half of what it used to cost you, and you're staying home. So, I filled my tank up a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and I ain't been nowhere but, to and from the radio station and to I had to go to Walmart, which I see it didn't hurt them much either. I don't go to the liquor store, so
Well, yeah.
so I had to go to Walmart to pick something up, and then my wife normally buy most of the food stuff like that. So that's something she done, But other than that, I haven't had anywhere to go.
Well, Eddie, now the liquor store, since it is alcohol that they're offering there, I just saw on Facebook someone had posted a Crown Royal bottle of, I think it's whiskey with a spray thing on it. It says spray the throat 3 times a day for anti-coronavirus. It's alcohol.
Yeah.
Of course, you may not care after that.
Yeah. I think they don't need any free advertising from us because we've already said the liquor stores are doing okay. They're not.
Yeah, quite okay.
They're not suffering at all. So it's about that time again, folks. We enjoyed being with you for the last hour, having a great conversation with you.
God bless you guys.
Providing
Stay
information.
safe, use wisdom.
You're not going to get from anywhere else.
Rebuke the fear.
And until next week, same bat time, same bat station. We love you, Tampa Bay. See you then.
God
Bye-bye.
bless.